Hey everyone, me again. So as you can see from the title, in today's video we are going to be doing a full face of Aliexpress makeup. Apart from the eyebrows, because I forgot to order any eyebrow products because I'm an idiot. But yeah, I've been ordering a few bits and pieces from them over the last few months. Obviously it takes a long time for some of the things to arrive. If you don't know what Aliexpress is, it's kind of like the Chinese version of eBay. It's very similar to the app Wish. And if you've never bought anything from there, I do have a blog post about buying makeup on Aliexpress as well. Just a few tips that I've picked up while I've been getting all the products for this video. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and chuck some makeup on my face. Let's do this. So I'm going to start out with primer. This one is by Maycheer. This is their base Magique Transforming Smoothing Primer. It just comes in a little jar like this. Guys, I don't know if I'm just being really stupid, but I cannot open this. Whew, there we go. So this is what the primer looks like. Ooh, it feels really different to what I was expecting. So what's a good way to describe it? It feels a bit more whipped. I've been using primers recently that are more oily or like silicone based primers. So this feels quite interesting. I'm just going to start dabbing it here. I'll have the prices on the screen that I paid. Keep in mind, it is a bit like eBay, so sometimes the prices go up and down, but I will have the prices that I paid on the screen. And if you're interested in any of these products, I'll link the stores in the description box below, just because again, it is like eBay, so sometimes the listings change, so I won't link to the specific product. I'll just link to the store that I got it from, and you can find it from there. It does have a smell. It's a really nice scent actually. It's quite floral. It doesn't feel like it's adding like an extra layer to my skin. That's normally what I go for with primer. Like my skin's quite dry, so I like to have that extra barrier. This just feels like a really light moisturizer. It's really toning down the shine on my skin. So I think you'll really like this one if you have oily skin. And my pores do look a bit smaller as well. And then I got two foundations. So the first foundation I got is this one from O.TWO.O. I really love the packaging. This is their BB cream in the shade 21. When I swatch it, it just looks a little bit pale for me at the moment because it's summer and I'm obviously a tiny bit darker. It also looks a little bit yellow as well. But I also got this foundation as well. This is from the brand that made the primer I just used. This is Maycheer again, and this is their 24K Gold Skincare Foundation Cream. It's a really massive bottle. You get 120 mils of product in here. Normally foundation you get like 30 mils of product, so this is quite a generous amount of product, and it wasn't expensive. I feel like this was just a couple of pounds. Hopefully you can see on the back of my hand here, but the shade just looks like it's going to suit me that little bit more. So that's the one I'm going to use today. It feels really creamy on the back of my hand. It does lean a little bit pink, so maybe I'll mix it with the other one just depending on how it applies. I'm going to try applying it with a brush on this side of my face and a sponge on this side of my face. I can see why they call it a foundation cream because it does feel very creamy on the skin. This is quite scented as well, but it doesn't feel irritating, and my skin is quite sensitive. I normally get a bit funny about scents. The finish looks completely natural, but you can see, just compared to the other side of my face, that it has actually really evened out my skin redness and stuff. And then I'm going to try it with a sponge on this side. With a sponge, it looks very sheer. It's basically disappeared into nothing, and I feel like the sponge has kind of eaten most of that foundation. So I'm going to do a bit more with the brush. So one thing to note is, even though this bottle is absolutely massive and you get loads and loads of product, I do feel like I'm using quite a lot of product as well, especially when I'm layering it, because it's such a creamy formula that it's getting kind of absorbed by the brush and by the sponge. Maybe I should have tried it with my fingers. Maybe that would have worked a bit better. So coverage wise, I think this is the best that I'm going to be able to get for the time being. Usually I like to build it up a little bit more, especially along my jaw where most of my redness is. So I think I'm just going to let it set on the skin while I do my eye makeup, and then maybe after that I might be able to build it up a little bit more or go over it with some concealer. I'm going to use this eye primer today. This is from O.TWO.O. Again, they have the most beautiful packaging. I actually bought this because in the listing it said that this was a concealer, so I thought it might be nice to have a little concealer jar, but then it arrived and it actually says Cooling Eye Primer underneath it, so maybe it's a multi-purpose product, but either way I'm going to use it for both in this video. I'm going to use it as a concealer and as an eye primer. Just going to dab this over the lid. It feels very tacky. but it does really cancel out all the colour on my eyes, as I'm sure you can see. This eye looks a lot brighter than the other one. There's really a lot of coverage to this. It does feel a lot tackier than other eye primers I've used, but that might really help the eyeshadow to stick to the base. So I ordered quite a few eyeshadow palettes. One of them was so special that I had to give it its own video. That was the You Can Be Aromas palette. Absolutely stunning. This is the one I thought I would save for this video. It's a Focaccia palette, and it's called the Nude Peach and Sweet Fig Milk palette. It's got a really nice marble cover to it. There's a rose gold pink lining as well, and this is the colour selection. Very much my cup of tea. Kind of reminds me of the Steeler in the Light palette. I'm just going to use some of the matte shades in here because I've got quite a few metallic eyeshadows that I want to try out today as well. So I'm going to start out with the pink colour right here. I'm just looking at my eyes and wow, that eye primer is really creasing on me. Like, that happens quite a lot anyway because my eyes are really hooded, but it's not usually quite that bad. Anyway, hopefully if I tap it out and then go straight over the top with the eyeshadow, that will just help the problem. This colour isn't the easiest to apply. I guess these like pastel colours are quite hard to formulate, but I do feel like it's a bit patchy. I don't know whether it's this colour or if it's the kind of tacky eye primer, but I'm finding this a little bit difficult. I'm going to try a little bit of this colour here. Just from swatching it, this one seems to blend a bit easier. There we go, that shade works a lot better. Then I'm just going to take some of this purple shade here and use that in the crease. So far I feel like this is probably one of the worst eyeshadow looks I've done on this channel. I don't know if it is the palette or if it's the eyeshadow base that I've got on, but I am just not really feeling this look. I'm just going to take this off and prime my eyes again, and then I'm going to try to go in with the You Can Be Aromas palette because I know that I get on with that palette. So if that goes really badly, then I'll know it's the eye primer. So this is the You Can Be Aromas palette right here. So I'm going to start out with this pastel-y shade here because that's kind of the closest thing they have to the pastel pink shade that I was using before, and then tap on that purple shade. It might actually be partly to do with the eye primer. I've managed to get it to look alright, but I think if I was ever going to use this eye primer again, which I probably won't, I would probably set it. I think that might help it because it's so tacky. It's just grabbing lots of product in some areas and then it's really difficult to blend it all out. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with the You Can Be palette. I'm just going to take a bit of the shade Secret right here on the crease. I'm going to take the shade Wandering up here and just use that on the outer part of my lid. Okay, so I'm going to call it a day with the eyeshadow. I'm still not 100% happy with it, but I just feel like this is the best that I'm gonna get and I really can't be bothered to take it off and do it again. Besides, I do have some liquid eyeshadow that I was going to put on the lid, and hopefully once I do that, the whole thing will just kind of look a lot neater. So I've got quite a few here. They have a lot of like Steeler dupes on Aliexpress, you know, their liquid eyeshadows that are really popular. They have a lot of dupes for that. I have one from Novo, which looks like this. This is in the shade Noble 301. Very pretty rose gold colour. I have two from Sace Lady. This is the shade 05 Smouldering Dust and the shade 06 Bronze Chick. And then I've got two more pinky ones from Poudier. This is the shade Free and the shade 17. Hopefully you can see all of those swatches. So they all look really pretty. They're absolutely stunning. I'm going to try this one. I'm going to go for the rose gold. I'm going to try going in on the applicator first, and then I'll take a bit of product off with the brush and just use that to tidy up the edge. Okay, it's quite patchy and it's not as opaque as I would have liked. I'm going to try doing the other eye, let that dry a bit, and then see if I can layer it. It still looks a little bit patchy, and some areas look like there's quite a lot of product, some areas look a little bit sparse. I think from here, you know, from a distance, it probably looks completely fine. I was thinking of going over it with a powder just to even it out. I don't have a powder in either eyeshadow palette that quite matches it, but I did pick up a highlighter that's just a smidge too dark for me. This one's by Miss Rose. It's got this like shell design on it. It's really, really pretty. So I'm going to try and put a little bit of this over the top, and let's hope it's not a complete disaster. I feel like that's improved things a bit, but I still want to put on some black eyeliner. I didn't get any from Aliexpress because I hardly ever wear black eyeliner, so I make a conscious effort to only have one in my collection at a time. So I'm going to put some on and then I will be right back. Alright, I've done my winged eyeliner and it was such a stressful experience that I had to go and make another cup of tea. Honestly, I just couldn't get it to look even. I don't think it looks even right now. I think I'm just having one of those days. I'm going to curl my eyelashes using this heated eyelash curler that I also got from Aliexpress. I've been using it for a few weeks and it's actually quite decent. And then I'm going to use this mascara from Poudier. I think that's how you say it anyway. This is their Mascara Rocket, and I bought it because I quite liked the look of the brush. So you can see it's a plastic bristle brush. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. I'm not gonna lie, this does have a bit of a funky smell. It smells a bit like something I would use to clean the bathroom. So I'll give it a try, but if I experience even the smallest kind of inkling of sensitivity, I'm going to take it off immediately. It's quite nice. I actually really like a natural looking mascara that's very lengthening but not too volumizing, and this one does that very well. Do you know what? I'm actually really happy with that mascara. I honestly wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. I thought it would be a little bit, you know, basic and that I'd probably put some false eyelashes on. But no, I'm actually really pleased with how my eyelashes look. So yeah, I don't really feel the need to put false eyelashes on. I think this will do for me. So I'm going to get back to my base now. I'm just going to quickly dab under the eyes, make sure there's no glitter from the liquid eyeshadow. And I really want some more coverage on my base. I do feel like this foundation looks a little bit more natural than I normally go for. So I'm just going to get a little bit more and try and layer it. And hopefully now that it's been sat on my skin, maybe it's set a little bit, it might be a little bit easier to layer. We'll see. If not, I'm just going to have to be very heavy-handed with the concealer today. Okay, I think that's layering a lot better now. I've managed to build the foundation up a teeny tiny bit, but I'm definitely still going to need a generous amount of concealer. I'm going to use the O.TWO.O Eye Primer again and see if I like it a bit more as a concealer this time. Oh, that's really nice. This eye, definitely in real life at least, looks so much brighter. There's still not quite as much coverage as I would like, especially over the kind of redness that I get around here, but it's okay. I don't think I can make it any better than it is at the moment, so I'm just going to set it and get on with my life. So for setting powder, I bought a loose powder from Miss Rose. The shade is just called 10. You do get a little powder puff with it. I'm probably not going to use that. I'm just going to tip some in here. And just like a lot of other loose powders, it really smells like my grandma. Just going to tap out the creases under my eyes, because this concealer, eye primer, whatever it's supposed to be, it is quite tacky, so it does crease easily. I find that as I'm doing that, I just seem to be removing a bit of the product. I don't know if you can see that, but I just feel like this whole area just got a bit darker after I did that. It's really taking down the shine, which is nice. I was feeling a little bit tacky, like if I kind of touched my face, I would just move whatever I touched. I don't know if it's just me, but I do feel like there's a little bit of colour in this powder. I feel like it's really brightened everything up and kind of toned down the redness a little bit as well. I'm going to put a bit of bronzer on just to bring a bit of colour back into my face. I've got this one from Miss Rose, so it's got this pink bit at the top. It's like something that you could use as a blush bronzer kind of hybrid. I love stuff like this. So I'm going to use it as a bronzer, and I'm going to focus more on like the brown colours at the end and just put that in the usual places on the outer perimeters of my face. I think this is applying really well. It's blending really, really beautifully. The colour's really nice. At the moment my skin is looking a little bit darker just because that foundation has oxidized ever so slightly. But I think under normal circumstances, this would show up a little bit more, but I still really like the colour. And it's got a really nice glow to it. It's not sparkly, it's just glowy. So I actually got this contour product a little while ago. This is the O.TWO.O Sculpt Glow, and I have been using it for a little while actually. I had to open it up as soon as I got it because it's just so hard to find a decent powder contour product for fair skin, and this one just looks absolutely perfect. So I've been using it for a while and I actually really like this. This is probably one of the only powder contours that I'm reaching for at the moment. It's in the shade 01. I have a blog post with swatches. Oh wow, right, so I had to take my contact lenses out a little while ago because my eyes were getting really dry. I'm looking at myself much closer in this mirror and wow, that concealer has gone really weird. I should really stop calling it a concealer because it's obviously just an eye primer. But yeah, I've got a lot of like texture and like cakiness just showing, so it's not looking good. However, this contour is absolutely stunning. I got these really cute blushes from the brand by Nanda, and they look like this, so you twist them up and then they pop out, and they've got this little cushion thing that you kind of stamp on your cheek. This one is 02. I'm just holding it very carefully so it doesn't come out of the thing, but it's this nice kind of violet colour. I was ordering most of these products in the spring, by the way, and this one is number 4. It's a slightly more vibrant pink. So I'm going to just apply a little bit of the shade number 2. Do people actually apply their blush with a stamp? Should I try it? I don't think I should because I just can't see it going right for me, but at the same time, I know that you guys will really find it funny if I cock it up, so I might do it for you. Okay, so I think it should go about there. Oh my god. I look ridiculous. I'm going to blend this, obviously. It's not the best at blending out. I mean, it's not really doing very well down here. That's where I have quite a bit of dry skin. But I do like that once you kind of blend it out, it's not as pigmented anymore because it's quite a scary colour. It's kind of bright violet. It is much more wearable once you actually apply it to your face. I think on the other side, I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way and just dab a bit on the brush. I actually really like the colour. Once it's blended on top of my skin, and I've obviously got a bit of bronzer underneath as well, I think it's meshing with my skin tone and my bronzer really well. So next I need to put some highlighter on. And highlight is one of those things that I think Aliexpress does really well. I think they have a really good variety, and I've actually bought a few highlighters from them in the past and I've always loved them. They have liquid formulas, they have powder formulas, whatever you want, they've got it. So I have 2. One of them you've already seen. So this is the Miss Rose highlighter that I was showing you earlier. I do think it's a little bit dark. Like, I don't know if you can see, but that just perfectly blends into my skin tone. And then I got this one, which I think is going to look really bright on me, but it's this one from Novo. The packaging is really pretty. It's gold, looks like this. This is their 3-dimensional highlighter powder in the shade 01, which I'll swatch as well. So you can see that one looks so bright. So it is very bright and very sparkly, but I like it. A lot of highlighters look really textured, especially the more intense ones, but this one just looks quite wet on the skin. I think I'm really going to love using this over winter just because it is such like a bright white, and I obviously go really pale in the winter. The more powder products I try to blend over the top of this foundation concealer setting powder situation, the more product I end up removing, so that's great. Yeah, I do really like that highlighter. I don't think it looks great at the moment because my skin is just looking a bit shit with all the other products, quite frankly. But I think when I use this in my like normal makeup routine, it will look really nice. Let's finish off the eyes now. I'm going back to my You Can Be Aromas palette. I'm going to take a bit of the shade Secrets right here and just put that underneath the eyes. If you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that I really like using jumbo eye crayons in my waterline, especially if they're quite sparkly. So I got 2. They are both from O.TWO.O. I got the shades 1 and 2. This is what number 1 looks like. It is a bright white. And then 02, which I thought looked like more of a champagne in the product listing, but actually it's like a rose gold kind of colour. It's very similar to the NYX jumbo crayon in Yogurt, which I also really like. So yeah, I was thinking it would be a little bit brighter than that colour, but I'm still going to use the shade 02. I'm going to put a little bit more of this Novo highlighter on my inner corners. And then I'm just going to use a bit more of that mascara on my lower lashes. So I've just put some setting spray all over my face to try and help my foundation just mesh into the skin a bit better. I don't think it's going to work. There's definitely some areas of like patchiness and just kind of gaps in the foundation now. But anyway, I'm just going to put on something on my lips and then call it a day. So I actually went a little bit mad ordering lip products from Aliexpress. I got a load from O.TWO.O. They come in this black box like that, and then you unwrap them and they're these beautiful little gold tubes. So I got loads of them. Some of them are a little bit broken, like this one here. This has kind of fallen out of the packaging, and a lot of them, they kind of have this flat top. They look a little bit like they might have been squished against the top of the lipstick tube in there. But anyway, this is the shade 25. So you can see it's very, very pigmented, very matte. This is number 4. So this is a much more cool tone colour. This is number 7. Number 5. I can feel this one kind of rattling around in the tube quite a bit. Yeah, that's definitely going to break. It's a shame because that colour is actually really nice. Oh, this one's a bit broken as well. This is shade number 1. So that's what the lipsticks look like. There's 2 I think that would work reasonably well with this look. This is the O.TWO.O lipstick in 4, which is a lot brighter than I was expecting. It's definitely kind of a Barbie pink. And finally we have the O.TWO.O lipstick in 5. This is the most boring colour of the bunch, and surprise surprise, it's the one I like the most because I love my neutral shades. I think the tone kind of matches the eyes a little bit better, but this is also a lipstick that I would probably wear on an everyday basis. Unfortunately, it is broken in the tube. It's definitely loose in there, so it was a bit fiddly to apply. I feel like in the future, if I want to wear this more often, I'll probably have to use a lip brush, and for that reason I probably won't reach for it as much because I'm a little bit lazy. So I feel like the application looks a little bit dodgy, but I still love the colour. So this is the finished look. I don't think it's my best work, I'm not gonna lie. There were some products that I quite liked, but there were a lot more things that I was just a bit disappointed with, which is a shame. If you're new around here, I really focus on drugstore and affordable products. I was really hoping there'd be a lot more things that I was really excited to share with you. So I was really hoping that there'd be a few things that were just really, really amazing, but not very expensive, that I could happily recommend to you guys. And I think that's everything for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching this very unsuccessful makeup look. Let me know in the comment section below if you shop on Aliexpress, if you're interested in seeing me buy more products from there to review. If you're new around here, please validate my existence by subscribing to my channel. I post new videos every Sunday at 9 AM. I also have a blog, redsmakeup.blog, where I post every Tuesday and Thursday, again at 9 AM. You can follow me here, blog living, and the usual places like Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!